Welcome in to episode 230 of the Dumb Marks podcast. It's your boys, your favorite Saturday brunch bunch, back at it again, covering everything that was the week in pro wrestling. I'm your humble, highly favored, and soon to be drunk host with a little Irish coffees to wake up today on this St. Patrick's Day weekend. No 7 a.m. car club for me, guys. I'm too old for that shit. But I'm here participating in spirit, as you can see, in the house by myself. I'm the only person that got the memo, so I'll look like the asshole on the show today. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
I haven't done St. Pat's in years, man.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Says the guy that chugged a 40 last year.
Yeah. Last year, Jason was so hammered, and we went and did the Happy Dad review at the beer distributor afterwards. So that was classic St. Patrick's Day run there from Jason pulling the jersey out. Everybody that's out and about today, be safe, call an Uber, get a ride. It's a long day and a long haul. Make sure you eat something, drink plenty of water, along with the amount of booze and green beer that you make today. We know how Pittsburgh does with one of the biggest St. Patrick's Day parades in the country. So everybody out there, be safe, enjoy yourselves. But yeah, I won't be going nowhere near any of that.
Such a dad trying to promote responsibility on St. Patrick's Day.
as I'm mixing an Irish coffee. Yeah, but
and get that rest in too.
Yeah, get that rest.
Yeah, you gotta get that second win for later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that midday nap was always clutch.
Shout out to the people that actually pulled the all day event. I did it twice in my life where I've gone from 6 a.m. kegs and eggs to closing down the bar at 2 a.m. And yeah, but
I've never pulled all day in life at all.
Yeah, I've never pulled all day in life.
There's a nap in there somewhere.
Oh, that's tremendous.
Just at the bar.
Listen, there's plenty of people that nap at the bar for sure.
There are.
So I got Irish coffee ready to go. And I'm getting my breakfast with this because this is cinnamon donut coffee too. So I'm knocking those
stuff in there.
Yeah, you do.
Cheers.
Jason's got his Crystal Light.
Oh, it's just perfection right there. I forgot. I haven't had an Irish coffee in forever. Man.
A year.
Wait, man, I might have to start the workday with that, boy. Woo! Shut up, Taquan. So yeah, we're here. We're at it again. Busy week. A lot of wrestling went down over the weekend on Saturday. To get through Saturday and Sunday, right? So we got a little wrestling roulette for you today, as well as the Mount Rushmores and Mushes, and a nice little debate disc to wrap up the week here, as far as the show goes. So as always, chime in wherever you're watching from, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. Have at it and comment along with the show here. Anybody got anything else for the intro as far as introductions are concerned?
Yes, thanks to the production team giving us new music and all that stuff. Wasn't expecting
Put
that.
the ones up. That red and black was
little. We got to figure out a different motif than the fire. I don't know if that's like a hint that you're a pyromaniac whenever you're setting it up. But other than that, boy,
man, that's Jacob.
yeah. I tell you what, though, man, that was a nice, pleasant surprise there. I love how you plugged everything during the intro.
Yes.
So Jason again has his homework done for him, and he ain't got to do shit at the end of the show.
And
you got to start it, and then you got to end it.
And the
yeah, I am Lucky Charm Dudley. Okay, Taquan. So you can take your fucking pot of gold and shove it sideways straight up your candy ass. How about that?
And that music, I didn't know if I was watching an 80s action film. Something disconnected.
Yeah, I can still hear you, but yeah,
going
off.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I mean, thanks to Facebook for always wanting to tell us that our videos are going to get taken down or flagged or whatever. So we'll see how it goes today.
Yeah, with free music, whatever. We're here. We got to change it. We got to switch up the game every once in a while, right? We got to keep them on their toes as far as stuff goes, right?
Yeah. What I was saying was it was either 80s action music, Double Dragon, or On the Hub somewhere.
I'll go with option C, On the Hub somewhere. And if you don't know what hub we're talking about, yeah,
that might be a name of a movie. Option C.
Yeah, 3. Look, it'll be 4 C's for the 4-leaf clover drop. As far as the Lucky Charm Dudley that you claim that I look like Taquan. So, yeah, but no, we're here. Thanks for tuning in. All right, you guys ready to jump right into it? A little wrestling roulette.
Let's do it.
So we're going to switch this up a little bit today. We're going to do around the horn style. So I'm going to throw a topic out there. I'll let each of you get your points off surrounding it. I'll add a little piece in, and then I'll award, point values on my own over here, and give somebody, 20 seconds at the end of the 6 topics to spew about anything that you may choose. Since Around the Horn got canceled, I figured we'd do a little tribute to Around the Horn and Wrestling Roulette this week as well. So, all right. AEW Revolution took place Saturday night. We know about the event. Huge card, a lot of matchups. I'm sure we'll get into Mushes and Mount Rushmores with Revolution as well. But coming out of the event, 3 matches got 5-star ratings. If you haven't seen, we had Ospreay and Fletcher cage match, 5 stars. Omega and Takeshita, 5 stars. And Toni Storm, Mariah May, 5 stars. For the first AEW women's match to get 5 stars, as far as ratings go.
I think I saw first North American women's match too.
Yeah. So with that being said, out of those 3 matches that received 5 stars, which one was most deserving? And I'll kick it down to Donald first.
For me, it would be Mariah and Tony. It was just a perfect thread of story, street fight, all together, and it wrapped up perfectly in a bow and curtain call. Everything else I seen before from them.
As far as like Ospreay and Fletcher and Takeshita and Omega?
Yeah, I seen that before. And kudos to the women for AEW because they know how to put on a street fight. They have the right amount of blood, the right amount of tables and all that, like weapons and everything. They know how to do it precisely. Them and the NXT women. Everybody else is just a fucking blood fest.
Jason, which one for you was most deserving of 5 stars?
I'll give it Tony and Mariah, minus the glass spot. Everything else was perfect.
You didn't like the kickboxer reference there? With the tongue po and the blue and the glass?
A little too cheesy, but it was good.
Chris?
We're going to go 3 for 3 on this. I mean, and I'll just say it now. That was my Mount Rushmore for the week was Tony and Mariah. So, I mean, great match. Loved the callbacks, from stuff that previously happened. I mean, the match should have been the main event of the night. Had it been the main event and had a little bit more time to breathe, I thought, some people are calling it a match of the year contender, and cool. If it is for you, that's great. It was a great match. But for me, if it would have had just a little bit more time to breathe and, because it was a train wreck of a match, in all the best sense. It was a hard hitting, quick match. I think it went almost 15 minutes. If it would have been able to bump up to say 20 to pace things out a little bit more, I think it would have been an incredible cinematic experience.
It was the shortest match on the card as far as match length goes. So
it had the most impact.
It had the most impact. Was definitely my match of the night with all things considered. Even though I picked Mercedes and Momo, I knew you were going to get the Omega Takeshita was going to hit and slap. Same with Fletcher and Ospreay.
Agreed. Tom.
Yeah, I mean, that was a given. I said that on the show last week. I said if it's not the main event, then when are you going to put the women in a main event spot? Because everything that they've done over almost a 2-year period, they deserve to be in the main event. I'll take thick Finley. I'll wear that with pride. I'm slimming down Taquan, okay? So we're dropping the LBs over here. But yeah, I don't have really much anything else to add besides that. I would have given the 5. If I had to pick 1 out of the 3 to give 5 stars to, it would have been Mariah and Tony. Like, absolutely. So,
and that seemed to be unanimous consensus from everybody on social media. Like after Revolution went off the air, was that should have been the main event.
Mhm.
Yeah, no doubt. Like I said, if that's not in the main event spot on a major AEW pay-per-view, what women's match will? Because they haven't told a story before or since on the women's side that has given the relevancy to making it the main event.
Yeah.
You know, and I know women don't jump in the chat. I know women have main evented other Dynamites and quote unquote weekly specials. But from a pay-per-view perspective, that should have been the main event for sure. All right. So first topic down, 5 more to go. Second topic, as far as wrestling this week, WWE has filed the trademark for Grande Americano coming out on Monday night. And you can assume who that's for. So it's been trademarked for entertainment services, namely wrestling exhibitions and performances by a professional wrestler and entertainer rendered live and through broadcast media, yada, yada, yada. So the standard wrestling trademark that's filed for wrestling names. Where does Grande Americano fit as far as the greatest luchador names of all time?
Is this the new Mr. America?
Definitely has possibilities for it.
Oh, is that supposed to be Gable?
Quote unquote Chad Gable. Yes. That's
if you watched Raw,
I just saw Raw. It wasn't him.
It wasn't Gable. It wasn't Gable. But go ahead. I'll kick it. We'll go around the horn. Jason, since you're shaking your head first, go ahead. Grande Americano. Where's it rank on the luchador name list?
It still doesn't click with me yet. because it's comedic, I'll give it up there. I'll give it 1 or 2.
Chris?
It's good. But I want to wait and see what they do with it, before I'm going to judge the name on it anymore.
Right down the middle with it. Right there. It's going to be a comedic gimmick. So,
he's going to put it over.
I mean, him coming out and then doing that, gracias, like,
oh, it's so good. It's so good. Like, I know Gable is
best part of Monday for me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, we can get into that later on. As far as the show layout for it being a Madison Square Garden show and thoughts on that, but Gable himself, like, I absolutely loved everything about it. And Cole and McAfee were tremendous.
Yes.
Cole's like, that's Chad Gable. And Pat's like, I don't know who that is. Like, and then
I'm not accusing anybody.
Yeah. And then him doing a full sprint through the crowd is just tremendous.
Oh, that was something last night, Ty.
Yeah. We could touch on that too. So, Grande Americano for me is a classic wrestling name there in that regards. All right, topic number 3 in Wrestling Roulette. WWE is reportedly closing in on the signings of Rey Fenix, which we all know was to be expected. But the surprise this week that came out, Jeff Cobb, New Japan. If the rumors are true and Cobb does sign with WWE, what's the impact of him selecting WWE over AEW?
Something new for him.
Yeah.
Yes. Because when you just go to New Japan to AEW, you are the same person, as I keep saying that a lot of AEW people are, like Adam Cole is my biggest example of all. Try something new, see where your ceiling is, if you have one. So I'll definitely be interested, even though I can see them throwing him with Bronson Reed right away.
That was the exact same thing I was thinking.
The modern natural disasters. Yeah. Good, Jason.
So was Phoenix the vignette for SmackDown?
I don't. Which one? Like,
The one in fire or the one sitting on the rope.
I would assume that would be Phoenix, but
I mean,
maybe it's Americano Grande. You never know.
Yeah.
Ty, you're not probably far off on that either.
Hey, listen, I know most people knock speed based on the format and that, but there have been some really outstanding matches on speed lately. So, go check out Ivar and why can't I remember his name from the guy from Noah that's in NXT with Briggs.
Okay.
I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but that has been that's probably the best speed match that I've seen out of everything that was done. Dom, Mysterio, and Ivar had a really good one this past week. So I know JD has had a good match. So I get the format sucks and it's kind of just a throwaway thing to put on social media, but there is some quality matches coming out of there. Depending on whether or not that's your cup of tea is another thing.
If I hear better things, DJ, maybe.
I still have yet to.
Can't fit it in the schedule.
Very true.
It's a lot, man. It's a lot.
Yes, it is.
All right. So 3 topics down, 3 more to go. Apparently it's tournament season because tournaments are being announced all across the board. We saw on Dynamite the announcement of the Dynasty International Championship Eliminator Tournament with some first round matches there.
Always
the winner
tournament.
That's the one I don't like because that's fitting.
The winner of that will face Kenny Omega at Dynasty. And then Maple Leaf Pro announced the inaugural Maple Leaf Pro Women's Canadian Champion with the semifinals and quarterfinals going down on Friday and Saturday night at Maple Leaf Pro Mayhem, which is set to take place. Was that next week?
No, it started last night.
Oh, last night. Yeah, last night. Yeah, so tournaments in wrestling. What can we do? What can we do to improve the tournament layout? Are there too many tournaments in pro wrestling right now currently?
There's too many tournaments in AEW. Condense that down and focus on one decent tournament, and instead of doing multiple. Like if they won the Continental Classic to be like their calling card, just do that. Don't just do eliminator tournaments just to do them. Have a year focused on that.
I say just have tournaments whenever it's needed. Vacant belt. Something like that. Somebody gets injured. Well, that'll be vacant belt, but basically that.
I give you 2 a year and then it's too much. But the only reason I say I like the internationals was because you have somebody representing each country in the tournament. That's the only reason for that one.
Taekwon combined the Owen and the C2. We got the announcement. Ospreay's throwing his name in the Owen for a chance to headline All In for a title shot, right?
Tom's like, I don't even need any more names.
No, you don't. Yeah, you will.
DJ, that is the worst, the swipe right gimmick with these 2 jagoffs. This is what the guys I brought up on last week's show with I've dated 10 girls in college and I've dated 11 girls because I'm the one upper and I just had to get one over on you. But yeah, just leave that shit's for the birds. Get that shit out of here. Does the amount of tournaments, and I know that these are leading towards title shots, and WWE has now implemented that with the Queen and King of the Ring. Should WWE pull the King and Queen in the Ring and not even run them this year?
Yeah, ever since what you did with Zelina and Woods didn't feel like something grand. Like before, when you were the King and Queen of the Ring, that meant something. You were next up. That was your shot. Now it's just a crown.
Well, remember Gunther and Nia won it last year,
It is right.
so they
They
got
at
the
least
title
got
shots
their-
at SummerSlam.
That is right.
Mhm. But again, you don't need that automatic title shot that we talked about before because there's too many of them now.
It's just lazy booking. Like, let's throw a tournament together, and then that winner faces the champion. But you're not building those stories.
Yeah.
Like,
right after Money in the Bank,
Yeah.
pretty much too, or right around it. You know, when you're automatically trying to do another number one contender there. And do we have to do the king and the queen together? Like, couldn't we do it 2 separate times instead of at the same exact time?
No, because they did their champs at SummerSlam.
yeah, I don't know. I mean,
No, I'm with you, Steve. There's too many tournaments to build a story around somebody.
yeah, it's a crutch. It's a crutch for booking. That's all it is. Like, so, well, like there have been some good stories that AEW has told within the tournaments themselves, but overall, like that's not really getting me invested to see the match between the champion and the challenger because there's no interaction. There's nothing outside of, oh, you won a tournament, so let me defend my title against you.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, and that goes for the king and queen of the ring as well. Like, this isn't just an AEW tournament issue because, you know, we've seen that. I mean, nobody's perfected the tournaments like New Japan. So to me, like that, the tournament is so ingrained in New Japan wrestling because of what the G1 has been and has meant for so long. You know, the New Japan Cup, etc. Right? Like, I just feel everybody else that does it, it's just like you're copy and pasting. Like, come up with something that's original, right? Like,
essentially just filler. Because all this can be done in the gauntlet match.
True.
True. So speaking of stuff that may be filler or not, WWE put out on their official X feed that the entire 5-year saga of the Bloodline is now available for viewing, and it is 4 hours long. Will you sit down and rewatch the entire Bloodline saga?
That would
Maybe
have
when
to
it's
be
over.
chapters.
Maybe when it's over.
What was it on?
So there was
YouTube.
the fan made one that somebody did a couple years ago that was phenomenal, and that was like 2 hours and change, right? Like, but it was really good, and I sat down like the mark that I am for the Bloodline and watched everything. But now we're getting the additional with Solo breaking off, Jacob coming in, and everything else. So you get the whole story up and through.
You get the DLC put in it now.
Yeah. Everything's canon now.
It's all connected.
All connected.
Like Donald said, it's not over yet. So
Yeah. Once it's all over, then I'll go back.
How long is
that's
this?
going to be a 24-hour thing.
Yeah,
by
I was
the
going
time
to
they
say,
do
how
all of
long
it.
is this going to be? And will it get up to the point where it is, you know, a 24-hour spectacle?
Wait till they start adding in the prequel stuff, like the original Wild Samoans are in there to just kick off the story. The first time they brought the Ulafala to TV.
But that means,
you see when Paul talked to him? Yeah, that was Roman Reigns.
So my question with this is, based on this particular, you know, saga being put together, would you like to see WWE do more types of content in this range where they combine everything that is centered around a particular story and give you the start to finish?
Yeah.
Broken down,
that.
edited, you know, cut to fit, but you get point A to point Z. You don't got to do it for everything, but like, you know,
stuff.
like my first impression with this is you can do this with Roman, Seth, and Punk going into Mania because you can go from the Shield debuting with Punk all the way through, right, till now.
There's that Bailey's.
Yeah. Seth or Punk and Drew with their story last year, right? What they've done just in recent memory as far as like content goes, you can do this.
They
But-
do it for some other stuff. Like they'll mix it in from time to time. Like and they'll do like a live like 24-hour feed, of something on their YouTube channel. So yeah, they're definitely trying to. TNA I think has done it even better on their YouTube channel.
Right, that's what I was going to say. This is part of the give and take from the TNA collaboration because TNA's been doing this for years with stuff with the Aces and Eights was the one that I go back and rewatch, right? And so seeing that whole thing play out. There you go. There you go, DJ.
Yeah, and that wouldn't be bad too if you're like new to wrestling and you want to catch up on a story. There you go.
Yeah, you can pinpoint somebody specifically here. Watch this, and then they can get an idea as far as how it plays out and how it goes.
Wavy, did you pony up for WrestleMania tickets?
If so, what did you drop on them?
Did you do that $9,000 Hall of Fame ticket?
The 8,500 meet and greet with Triple H and Lex Luger. Did you see that one come out this week?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
got it for Chris for his birthday.
How much was it?
8,500 to meet Triple H and Lex Luger.
You got your ticket, but you got to meet them. Like, what are you paying more for here? I'm good.
I was gonna say something, but I'm not saying it.
Hit us with that clip of the week.
I'll be good.
And then last topic for Around the Horn Style for Wrestling Roulette this week. TNA announced that they have broken out and delivered new TNA Plus plans as far as subscription goes to TNA Plus. So they have an annual pass, which is $159, which includes all pay-per-views. A seasonal pass, which is a 3-month pass, including the next pay-per-view event for $49.99. And then they have a monthly subscription tier for $9.99, which includes TNA Plus special events and TNA Impact.
And no change on that one.
So thoughts on the new tier structure for TNA pricing itself, and who else should develop and adopt the pricing tier structure as far as subscription goes?
Nobody, and I'll pass.
So the yearly subscription, that's what I ended up paying last year because it was like $220 originally. And then they offered like a deal for the year for that price. And I was like, listen, if I'm gonna, because at the time I was paying the $10 a month for it. If you break it down, it's like $13 a month, for the yearly thing to get all the pay-per-views. So yeah, I saw that. I'm debating if I'm gonna renew next month whenever mine expires.
Yeah, the annual plan for me is well worth the price because of you get everything included, and to me that's like the closest thing since the WWE Network, right? Because you get all the back catalog, you get all the weekly shows, you get all the special events, plus the actual pay-per-views themselves. So yeah, if you're looking to get a TNA fix, I would definitely sign up for the yearly plan at $160 just because of the money and the value that you're getting for it.
Yeah.
We're paying everything else, so might as well know that my $160 is going directly towards TNA and not paying for Netflix to recoup a $5 billion offer they made, or to Peacock to recoup $1 billion offer they made, like whatever the case may be, right? I'd rather give the money directly to the company, the promotion in that aspect. This New Japan World, do they have anything structured out like this as far as their subscription goes, or is it just
theirs is just the roughly $10.90, like the $9.99 a month for it. That's all it is, and then you get everything included. The only thing you don't get is you don't get Stardom, and then like there's like some, like, I think, what was it? What's the event that they do with AEW?
Forbidden Door.
Yeah, like you don't get that with it, but so it's like, but there's everything else you get.
All right. Well, that was Wrestling Roulette this week, around the horn style. So with that being said, Donald, 20 seconds on the clock to you to go into any rant that you want.
You said any rant?
Any rant that you want. 20 seconds on the board. It's open to anything. To you. Go ahead.
Damn, I wasn't ready for this. Next time I'll be prepared.
There's something you can rant about. I know you. You can pull it off.
Yes. Since it's March Madness time, I would love to see conference tournaments end on Saturday. I don't like when conference tournaments end on Sunday, an hour before selection show. Nope. It needs to be on Saturday so they can get the brackets together, and anybody who is going to the tournament or they think they're going to the tournament have another day's rest. There we go.
Not bad. Not bad. Right on the 20-second mark. Good job there. I will say this year it's going to be a little sad watching the selection show because it's the first year without Greg Gumbel.
Yeah.
Since he passed away. So not hearing and with the 3 seed, University of Tennessee, and they'll be playing the Iona whatever out of the whatever conference. Like hearing Greg Gumbel's voice hit doing those announcements for the brackets just made March Madness kickoff for me. So that's going to be a little different this year in that regard. So hopefully Selection Sunday still, gives the feels and the vibes that it normally does. Shout out to St. Francis, PA, making the tournament, as well as Robert Morris.
I was going to say, shout out RMU.
Shout out RMU. So, yeah, I think RMU is projected to be a 14 seed in the tournament. So hopefully they get a matchup and actually get a win, in that regards there. So
it'll be interesting. The last time they were going to make the tournament that I thought that they could have got a win was COVID year.
Yeah, and it got shut down and they didn't get to play in it.
Yeah.
And St. Francis was actually they played St. Francis in that championship game because they were in the same league to go to the tournament. They beat St. Francis to get the bid. COVID happens, it gets canceled. 5 years later, they both win their conference and are going. So little vindication on that end, and glad to see that both of those schools made it. So fill out your brackets.
We'll definitely be watching those.
Yeah, I will be off Thursday and Friday, so I will be watching March Madness from noon to 12 a.m. Both days. So you may catch me down the sports book down the rivers as well. If that's the case by myself. So yeah, so there's Wrestling Roulette this week. Hit us up. Let us know if you enjoyed the Wrestling Roulette Around the Horn segment. And with that, we'll keep the show flowing. Let's jump into Mount Rushmore's because I got a feeling we got a lot of gripes with Mushes this week. Chris, you already gave your Mount Rushmore this week of Mariah May and Toni Storm. I think we covered all that needs to be covered about that. The one thing I will say is I enjoyed Tony's follow-up promo on Wednesday night.
Yes.
The Tramp is still champ. Just tremendous. And then Megan Bain with the attack. So we're setting up the next challenger. You could have done this with Camille as well. That's all I'm going to say. I'll leave it at that. So with that being said, Jason, what was your Mount Rushmore this week?
I'll give 1B to MJF and Hangman. They're getting, MJF is like one shade away from blackface, but his promo work in this feud, I'm looking forward to. It might be the next thing after Tony Mariah, the next big thing for me.
Does the Hurt Syndicate jumping in and MVP offering the business card on Wednesday night to MJF, does that intrigue you as far as the story goes for MJF?
If he's the main guy.
I saw somebody immediately on Wednesday night after that segment put up a side-by-side picture of MJF in the Hurt Syndicate with be an Owen Hart in the Nation of Domination.
Yeah.
So
Owen just didn't try to match.
My 1A Roadblock was a great ass show for a Tuesday show. I'll give it to Jordan and Roxanne.
Oh, okay. That was my match of the night. I picked that for Roadblock as the match of the night there. they definitely showed up. I'm with you in agreement. Roadblock for me was the most enjoyable show of the week. Like I loved everything about Tuesday night. I wish Stephanie and Julia got more than 12 minutes on a TV show. Like I needed that to be a pay-per-view. But again, circumstances. Julia has visa issues going on, as well as an undisclosed injury, which they haven't named, but she will need some time off for those two things. So, but overall, start to finish, I thought the Hardys opening against Fraxium was a great way to start the show. Ethan Page and Javon Evans for what it was, even though I was tired of seeing it, I fully enjoyed that.
That was the best NXT show I've watched in a long time.
Yeah,
start to
finish. Take out Trick and
Eddie.
Or Eddie, yeah.
Trick and Eddie, yeah. You cut that. I'm okay, right? I didn't, and also I didn't like the new faction running down and beating up Javon.
Yeah,
especially because it's like they're like this unruly faction, but yet they can stand in the crowd, get spotlight entrance with music, and then run down and do a beatdown. Like,
then you don't
insult my intelligence. This is some rogue infiltration faction that's just running around. Why weren't they arrested for beating up Robert Stone and spray painting the office and everything else? No, they get spotlight entrances.
My favorite's always whenever they come from the same direction in the crowd, and then like the commentary team's like, they're surrounding the ring. No, they're coming from the same direction.
Yeah.
Like how many?
Javon could have ran the other way.
Exactly.
Yes.
How many run-ins before you have to not atone for your action, but speak up? You got to give us some mic time. Give us a reason.
At some point, one of them is going to have to get on the mic at some point.
Yeah,
JBL's running on 9 months in TNA without mic work, so
this is true. But JBL also has a 35-year career history where he doesn't have to get on the mic and say that, right? DJ, we briefly touched on the potential Phoenix teaser from last night with the luchador sitting on the ropes. What was with the other vignette with the smoke and the number 4?
Mm-hmm.
That one threw me completely off. I have no idea what that's for.
The only one I've seen so far was Aleister Black. That's the only one I saw on that.
Yeah, somebody said that.
Oh no.
Okay, I'm not mad at Aleister. Okay.
We'll see.
Speaking of circling back to the Jeff Cobb talk, if he does sign with WWE, man, they're loading up on that Lucha Underground roster. So if TKO bought it and plans to revive it, they literally are going to have half of the roster signed in that regards there. So, but yeah. All right, Donald, your Mount Rushmore this week.
It comes from NXT also. You guys touched on everything but my Mount Rushmore, and that's Oba and Moose. It's particularly Moose in particular, because he surprised me, because I'm not a Moose fan at all, and I was very, very impressed with him. Very impressed.
I tweeted out on Tuesday. For those that slept on Moose, now know, and that was Oba's best match in his short history, with a ton of pressure on him. We know that they obviously see Oba as a guy, right? Like it's clear as day. Yeah. But the fact that you run him out there and before the match that he gets the Undertaker rub, like that's a lot of pressure to go out there and deliver. And Moose to me was the perfect opponent to see if Oba could actually swim. Because Moose is bigger than Oba, faster than Oba, quicker than Oba, and for me, Donald and Chris, you both stole my Mount Rushmores this week, so I'm gonna have to come up with another one. But yeah, absolutely tremendous job by those two on Tuesday night. I did hate, and again, this is where the freaking special on Tuesday night comes in. A lot of the stuff that happened that was relevant to the match took place in the picture-in-picture.
Yeah.
Like normally picture-in-picture is for fodder, and we don't get a whole lot of development during the match during picture-in-picture, but there was a lot of key stuff that took place in the picture-in-picture that I wish I would have had actually straight through on a pay-per-view. So
yeah, NXT got to do something about that.
That's usually every women's match.
Yes.
I don't necessarily, I don't I don't champion for the loser of a title match to immediately get a rematch and run it back, but they need to run that back and stand and deliver. Like, it was that good that they need to run it back, in my eyes.
You got a TNA show that weekend, and you got Stand and Deliver. So you got.
I know it's not going to happen, but like, yeah, throw them on pay-per-view.
Yeah,
Ty's having way too much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris. Just like you said too, with this being like an AEW thing, you have an event, then you have another event, back to back. Like this could have been Stand and Deliver right here. Yeah, that's special.
So
give it away on TV.
Yeah, for me, I did have an extra Mount Rushmore in the tuck just in case the two got stolen from me. What'd you say, Chris?
Are we tucking?
I'll give my Mount Rushmore to the main event cage match on Raw on Monday. Seth Rollins and Punk. One of the better cage matches that I've watched in a really long time. I enjoyed the ending with Roman coming in, taking out Punk, and then for me the kicker, which really like put it over the top for me, was him seeing Heyman in the ring with Punk,
coddling him,
and his expression change, and then him get in, throw Heyman out of the way, and then just take out Punk. Like if we're getting the three-way dance between those three, then yeah, we're off and running. So let's go. I fully expect next week.
Yeah, Roman's
Bologna to have some implications there. So yeah.
Is Roman on SmackDown? Is that what Paul said yesterday? Or is it Raw?
It's SmackDown. SmackDown in Bologna. The only thing is though is when is this favor going to come into play? What's the ask? What's the favor going to be? The favor is going to be what you be in my corner. I don't want that to be the favor. Like these three are obviously going to main event night one.
Oh, for sure.
And I forget which one of you guys said last week, but you opened the show with Gunther and Jay. One of you guys said it last week, I think, for Mania.
I don't remember.
Wasn't me.
But yeah. So, like night one, if you open with Gunther and Jay, and then you close night one with that triple threat. But Triple H said main event slots aren't saved yet, allegedly. It's going to be for the hottest story going, and the people that deserve it the most. So
there's only two.
We'll see how that plays out.
Maybe three.
Steve, I did not enjoy that cage match on Monday night. The only good part of it was the ending. Was whenever Paul and Roman came out. That's the only interest I had in that match on Monday.
See, to me, that match was what a cage match was used for. Just get in there for a blood feud with personal, deep-rooted hatred of the other man, and we just go in there and beat the ever-loving shit out of each other. Now, you can say that, the amount of kickouts out of finishers, like, kind of ruined it, right?
AEW was with it.
But you can also tie that back in the story. I just, I thought it was tremendous. And it was completely opposite of the Fletcher Ospreay cage match.
Oh yeah, I'm not trying to compare the two at all, but yeah, just after watching it, the only interest I had after was like, oh yeah, at least Roman came back, which I was expecting, for that to happen, but that's the only positive I saw out of it. That and Punk and Paul in the ring. That was it.
All right, so those are Mount Rushmores for the week. This week, we got the cage match with Seth and Punk, Oba and Moose, Tony and Mariah, and then Jason, you had
Jordan and Roxanne,
Roadblock. I could have just put Roadblock as a whole on the Mount Rushmore, right? Because it was that good top to bottom. But all right, so with the good, we obviously have the bad. So we got mushes of the week this week. Jason, I'll kick it down to you. Diagonal, who was your mush of the week this week?
Well, we already touched on it, but kickouts. Kickouts across the board. You started with Styles Clash on thumbtacks. Kick out. Ethan's powerbomb through a table. Kick out. Oban moves the amount of kickouts, and then that main event on Raw just took the cake. Like the only protected move this week was Raquel's Tahana bomb.
A jumping pile driver onto a chair on the outside in MJF and Hangman.
Kickouts were egregious.
There was a lot of Popeye spinach eaten this week in matches because
There ain't that much adrenaline.
yeah, like,
Was that C2? You know, that power builder before you work out, C4.
I need Jason just to say egregious from now on every week. That'd be his catchphrase.
yeah. There's nothing is protected these days, and it does hurt match wise.
The 1 week at Angel still protected. And the Judas effect.
Yeah. So I'm not mad at that because there was a lot of spots where it's like, all right, if we're not ending the match on this, what are we doing? Like, what are we going to end it on? So
a roll up.
Yeah.
The most devastating move in all of sports entertainment.
Yes, it is. You never
Chris,
know.
you're mush this week.
Oh, you know where mine's going. The main event of Revolution.
That was mine too.
Oh, so all day long I was going like, do I want to stay up for this main event? And especially whenever they officially said that it was going to be the main event, I was like, do I want to stay up for it? Because I know I'm not going to enjoy it. But I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm going to stay up for the rest of the card. Might as well just finish it off, and maybe something will happen.
Pause.
You always got to finish off.
Pause.
That. What? Why? Why was that even a match? There was nothing. Yeah, like there was nothing interesting about that match at all. It was. That was a match to put you to sleep. Like that's the only reason why that was the main event of the card was. It was almost midnight and it could put you to sleep because it did absolutely nothing.
Well, not only that, but by the time the main event got around, I'm like, is Moxley going to have to cut off his arm? Like, what is he going to do in this match? Because there was so much blood and everything else, and that's Moxley's game. There was so many over-the-top big spots. I'm like, what is he going to do? And the booking decision to do the run-ins that they freaking did to throw Christian out there, which allegedly was a last-minute decision that they made on Saturday. They didn't even have that planned. That was made Saturday to decide to include Christian in the main event.
Pointless.
I was okay with him being added into the match, you know, because I was like, you know, at least they're finally doing something with it, and it makes sense with him, you know, trying to take out Edge. But like, just to waste the whole thing. Granted, it's been going nowhere for weeks now, but like, you just wasted that whole thing. Like, I hope they never do that stipulation again because. That was awful.
And then you announced that you're running it back with a street fight next week?
Yeah. Oh, won't be watching that.
Why? Because everybody buried and shit on the match from Saturday. So it's like we gotta hope to get people back, and we're gonna run it back with a street fight? For what purpose? What purpose?
Like they claimed that they saved it for the main event because, you know, to get Swerve's reaction, you know, get the reaction for Swerve for attacking Moxley, but it's like that didn't even save it. Like there was nothing you could have done there. Like,
do you know how much better the AEW Revolution would have been if you flip flop Cope and Edge and Mariah and Tony?
Yes.
If you ended Revolution just how Mariah and Tony ended with the pinfall 1, 2, 3, and you get the end on the graphic and go to
fade to black.
Come on, man, that makes it an all-time pay-per-view.
Yep, exactly.
Just by moving one match.
But what was the reaction afterwards? Everything was good, but the main event.
Yep. Right. So you turn an all-time pay-per-view into a. We're only talking about how bad your main event was.
Yep.
And the goal with every single show is to have a main event that makes you praise the show and talk about it going into your next week. And then the card that they ran out there on Dynamite to follow up the pay-per-view was just, it made no sense to me. Orange Cassidy and Harris Seco is your main event? Why?
For me.
And they're going to have Mike Bailey and Orange Cassidy fight next week, which ain't the finals.
So
I saw a lot of hate for Speedball.
Why was Beast running double duty?
Because he's Beast Mortis. Come on.
Yeah, I did see a lot of hate for Mike Bailey. Like, get this 1987 Karate Kid character off my TV.
Really?
WMAC Masters.
Yeah,
I mean, Speedball's gonna. I think Speedball win them over because I mean, truthfully, whenever I first started watching him in Impact, I felt the same way about him. And watching his matches, he just delivered. And it became less of a focus on the gimmick that he does, and more about I know he's gonna go in there and just crush it every week.
Yeah, bell to bell. I don't. There. Speedball is definitely one of those guys where, regardless if it's a 6-minute TV match or it's a 20-minute pay-per-view match, bell to bell, I will sit down and watch his match. Like, there's not a lot of guys that I'll sit down and watch, but Speedball is one of them. And we saw it on Wednesday. Like, Beast Mortos was a perfect opponent to put him out there with
I didn't
first.
mind that match. I didn't mind it at all.
Yeah, it was just everything else about it. And then it's like, all right, what are you going to do when you get a microphone handed to you?
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So, all right. So Donald and Chris had the main event from Revolution.
I can add a little more to it. What the dirt sheets was saying that Cope Hogan was the one who said Christian take the pin. I can see if your name is Edge, you might have some leeway with me, but your name is Cope now. So Cope does, yes. Yeah. So Cope hasn't did anything to me to wield the power of a Hogan. You did nothing. You won the TNT belt and you got hurt. You ain't wielding no power of Hogan. But it's Cope Hogan now, if that is actually real.
Hogan.
Brother.
That's it. That's it. And I'm about to make a BCS list of man, who's pulling Hogan power. And you know what, man? He jumped up from number 6 to 2
in the rankings. Yeah. My mush this week could have went a lot of different ways. Obviously, the main event from Revolution, right? I thought Raw overall, for being a Madison Square Garden show, was absolute drizzling shits, minus Chad Gable in the main event. And I get that you built the entire card to get to the main event, but if I'm paying ticket prices in Madison Square Garden for a Madison Square Garden show, I expect a lot more than what they gave me Monday night.
Agreed.
Right?
You got a Tuesday, but not Monday.
Wednesday Dynamite again. It's just not hitting. Like, I barely even cared about anything that happened Wednesday night. SmackDown last night, again, overall was not good. Like, this Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair just continuous
it's bad.
attack of each other, Raw, everything else. Like
you said, with Mania being extended, it's just dragging.
Mm-hmm.
But my mush this week goes to WWE and their tag team division. The Street Profits are now your WWE tag team champions. I don't know what they're doing in the tag team division, but the need to jump the title around and hot potato it and land it on the Street Profits for basketball reasons. I don't know why, DIY had to win to drop it to the Street Profits. But I'm over this lack of input and time developed to tag team wrestling across the board. But last night with Street Profits winning, it just truly, I'm like, dude, why do I don't care. This means absolutely nothing.
Because what's it going to do? They're going to get a match on the SmackDown before WrestleMania. They're not going to get a Mania match. So
at least you see their matches. You barely see anything on Raw. I couldn't tell you who the champs are on Raw.
And if Phoenix is
Like
coming
Warriors.
in, and they're putting him with Penta, and they can be the Lucha Bros. Well, there's your next tag team champions.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'll get hot shotted real quick.
yeah,
For sure.
See, here we go.
Them versus Viking Raiders.
So that Charlotte Flair gonna have a good match with anybody, huh, Jason? You watch that last night?
Hey, BFAB looked their best.
Oh, here we go. Cape Crusader is back out.
BFAB looked their best. Has she had a better match?
Was it a good match? No. Was it BFAB's best? Probably.
That's match.
That's it. That's enough for
right.
Jason. There you go.
Here. This is the litmus test, right? B-Fab and Charlotte versus Mercedes and Harley. Which was a better match?
You've seen more Harley matches than you've seen BFAB matches.
No, I'm not. That wasn't the question. Now you're adding in stipulations.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't watch the Harley match.
I didn't either. So.
And again, great work by incorporating Harley Cameron onto Dynamite on Wednesday night as Harley Graham.
Yeah.
And her mesmerizing Beast Mortos with the hip dance was tremendous. So I'm all here for that. But yeah, Charlotte, to me, pulling the Hogan card, that's up there. So you want to talk about BCS rankings? She's sitting number one right now. She's number one right now. Number one.
We're gonna have to tick her every week.
Yeah, every week.
Just like college football.
We can change the ticker at the bottom. We can just do the rankings.
Yeah, the Hogan rankings.
Yeah, the
We'll
Hogan
do
rankings.
weekly Hogan rankings. We'll run that on the scroll bar there. But yeah, that the tag team wrestling, to circle back around, like I've always been a fan of tag team wrestling since I started watching wrestling. I've enjoyed tag team divisions. Some of my all-time favorites are tag teams. But just the drop in recent years as far as time and devotion given to tag team wrestling, AEW is no better. TNA right now is probably, I can't even say that they're the best at it right now, but at least
the women's tag division TNA is the same thing of playing hot potato with those belts.
Yeah, and we saw a title change last night, and then an immediate challenger by Jakira Jackson and Lash Legend. Yeah. So, Donald, to your point, shake things up. Well, Lash and Jakira winning the TNA women's tag team titles is a shake up that I could see and realistically get on board with, right?
Mm-hmm. Whatever gets the belts off of Ash.
Other than Axiom and Frazier, tag team wrestling is just, it ain't been good since like a year or two at AEW.
Yeah, but I mean, even like Axiom and Frazier, while they've had the belts forever and a day, and the matches have been really good, but you haven't done anything with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's like,
nobody to challenge them.
Point to a major feud that Axiom and Frazier have had.
I would have just
Chase you. That was it.
But that
was thrown together, and that was
and I wouldn't even consider that to be a feud. You know, like.
Oh, I wouldn't say the division. I was just talking about them.
No,
like,
I get it.
Like, deliver. Other than that, tag team wrestling is just.
Yeah.
And you think Hunter, when he ran NXT, that tag division was amazing.
Yes,
that was arguably the top of the card.
There weren't too many divisions that weren't good in NXT.
So, but there you have it. Our mushes of the week this week. Main event from Revolution, tag team wrestling, especially WWE, and then false finishes and kickouts from Jason down there, which could probably be a weekly occurrence as far as mush of the week goes in that regards, right? So, all right. With that being said, let's jump into debate this. So the list that took social media by storm this week, as put out and ranked by BET, the 15 greatest Black wrestlers of all time. So again, I don't know why we still have the order from top down or from like 15 to 1 instead of 1 to 15. But
Work your way to the greatest.
top 5: Booker T, The Rock, Kofi Kingston, Mark Henry, and Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné. Right, wrong, who got this list? I saw Mark Henry tweet out. I would love to know who put this list together, because as a member of this list and a historian of wrestling, I would love to chat with you.
He doesn't believe he's 4.
My one gripe, where's New Jack?
Well, I mean, but
Well, it's
realistically, like looking at this, like you have no Ernie Ladd, you have no Rocky Johnson, there's no Tony Atlas, there's no Abdullah the Butcher. Like that's 4 just off the top of my head right there, without even really sitting down thinking about it.
R-Truth.
R-Truth.
Yeah, definitely true.
Naomi can go.
I mean, the fact that Shelton Benjamin is sitting at 14,
yeah,
and you got, I think Ron Simmons deserves to be higher on this list.
Mm-hmm.
First champ, like he deserves higher.
I'm not sure if Booker needs to be 1.
See, now this is where I was hoping the debate would go, because when you put Booker's
favorite wrestler,
that's the greatest omission from the list. Taquan. He was on Arsenio Hall, goddammit. Like, how do you not have him on the list? Ahmed Johnson was not making the list, Taquan. There's no way.
You can't put everybody on the list.
Let's talk about it. Booker T at 1.
Is he deserving in there? Yeah.
I would make the argument he is number 1 for his entire career, for the totality of his entire career. Singles run and tag team run, all the titles that he's won, being a top guy in 2 different promotions, and then actually, being relevant in TNA as a 3rd promotion.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of character change and career development that he's had. King Booker, obviously one of the greatest characters of all time. Harlem Heat is arguably a top 5 tag team of all time. I'm going to be hard pressed to get Booker T off of there when you compare longevity versus The Rock.
Depends on what their criteria is, why they picked Booker over The Rock. I mean, if star power, more people are going to know The Rock than Booker T, though. I mean,
but is that just from wrestling, or is that from the movies being added in?
Yeah, everything. I mean, household name.
I'm not counting Hollywood career Rock in this list.
Just in the ring.
Just strictly in ring, what you did in your wrestling career. I got Booker T over The Rock as the greatest African American wrestler of all time.
Ron Simmons for me would be in the top 3.
Definitely.
I'd probably even combine, instead of doing Kofi and Big E separate, I'd combine the New Day into one.
Yeah, I just love how you got Kofi and E on here, but Woods is nowhere to be found. So you're giving credit to 2 guys for what they did as part of New Day, but you're not giving credit to the 3rd guy.
Yeah. Only
and I get it.
They were world champion. But
Big E and Kofi were world champions, yes, but at the same time, yeah, it is a WWE, WWF heavy list, but at the same time, like,
you can't say ever.
Yeah.
Because ever include everybody.
But I think Ernie Ladd being left off this list is blasphemous.
That's a good call.
Abdullah not being on here is blasphemous.
For me, not having New Jack up on this list is bad too.
Should Athena go on it?
Ooh.
Because I I would.
Naomi.
Yeah.
Better than Naomi.
Yeah, if you got current day Bianca on there and Sasha Banks and that, Athena having an 800+ day title reign, definitely deserves conversation. No Big Daddy V Viserys.
Black names now. Get on a mission.
You're like, where's Bad News Brown at?
Where's Mo and Dave?
No, Bad News Brown. No, Bad News Brown is definitely an omission that needs to be corrected because Bad News Brown only gets credit for his WWF run, but Bad News Brown, as far as being an impactful Black wrestler in the history of pro wrestling, definitely deserves to be on this list.
Yeah, so there was definitely some omissions here.
If we just look at the list of 15, right, and not count omissions, but just the list they gave us at 15, how would you re-rank the top 5? Just based on the names that are on this list.
I think, like Chris says, Ron Simmons deserves to be higher. And I'd put Sasha Banks higher. I mean, she's good at 5, but I don't know. You got Mark Henry above her.
I think I'd go, for me.
Slot him. Give him out. Rattle off top 5. Re-rank. Top 5.
Rock, Booker, Ron, New Day, Sasha.
Well, I just said the names that are included in this list. You're adding Xavier. So just re-rank the 15. Don't count omissions and people left off.
I'll do Rock, Booker, Simmons, Sasha, and Junkyard Dog.
Rock, Booker, Simmons, then Sasha, then JYD.
Rock, Booker, Simmons, Sasha. Then I'll go Henry.
All right. There you have the re-ranked order from the 15 greatest Black wrestlers ever, as posted and put out there by BET. Shout out to BET for getting into the wrestling game in 2025.
Hey, The Rock brought everybody back.
This list was
WrestleMania season.
Yo, that list, when that list hit the internet this week, that's all I saw people talking about. Like, legitimately, it ran wild.
I was waiting for it, Ty.
He's not black to you. He doesn't.
Where's Sol Ruka at?
Yeah, she deserves to be up there.
That's a different list.
I did see that list. Did you see that list put out there?
No.
It was ranking the what was it? It was something about all the Black wrestlers in NXT, and Sol Ruka was on there, and I'm like, Sol Ruka's Black?
Mm-hmm. Or Kiana.
Yeah. I know Kiana. You can tell Kiana. You can't tell with Sol.
So yeah.
You can't tell with Sol. We got Booker, Kingston, Simmons, Henry, Monet from DJ. This is his re-ranked top 5.
Cool.
As we all agree, Simmons deserves to be higher.
Definitely, yeah, for sure. I think Simmons slotted at 3, I think, is probably universal across the board here.
If you didn't watch Simmons in WCW during his world title run, Doom run, all that.
I remember Doom.
Doom, again, underrated tag team, but tremendous, right? Those battles between them and Harlem Heat were great pro wrestling. All right, so there's our debate. Hit us up on social media. Let us know what we got right, what we got wrong, and how you would re-rank BET's 15 greatest Black wrestlers ever list. Quick hitters. What do you guys got for quick hitters this week? Anybody got anything?
I didn't see anything come across my timeline this week.
So I do hate the fact that I was, us in the States were the last ones to watch SmackDown last night. And we're going to be the last ones to watch Raw on Netflix unless you have the VPN. So head on over to Surfshark. Yeah. Head on over to Surfshark VPN Dumbarks Pod. Get a discount off your VPN subscription there, so you can watch Raw at the correct time. But they're not launching.
I think
Raw
Raw is good on all.
No, in the States they're keeping it slotted for 8 p.m. They announced it. Yes, I saw that announcement yesterday.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
It's a SmackDown.
Yeah, they were talking about Raw was going to be on time.
Taquan says Raw's airing on time.
I saw it yesterday. They said Raw time is not going to change on Netflix. It's still going to go live at 8. But I may be wrong. So, everybody has their own sources. So
I was having the first match on SmackDown, and I was scrolling Facebook and new tag team champs. I was like, well, damn.
Yeah, I didn't see that spoiler, but I did see spoiler stuff whenever I opened up X, and I'm like, what are we talking about here? And I'm like, oh, right, it's in Barcelona.
Yeah, I forgot about until it actually started. So I got to remember that. Backlash they announced is going to be heading to St. Louis. I was kind of disappointed they're not doing an international one for that this year.
Well, I mean, you know why they're not doing Mexico City now, right?
I mean,
we all know why. We all know why. Somebody wants to say it. Say it. But we all know why they're not going to Mexico City now.
That Barcelona crowd was lit last night.
Yeah, from right out the jump when LA Knight came out, I'm like, oh, we're international crowds are back, and this is the run we're about to go on. This is going to be tremendous.
And when the 10 count in Spanish,
yeah,
you're with them. Ocho. Spanish.
Some people was probably mad about that.
Mm-hmm. Who hit that SAP button?
I saw Revolution did pay-per-view buys of around 135, 140,000 for Revolution as far as pay-per-view buys go. So it was a solid buy right there. Zilla Fatu is facing Dijak at City of Dreams on today for HOG for House of Glory. So that's out there.
Him and Newgate got a little internet beef going right now. So we'll see where that goes. And
then there was an announcement this week that AEW Collision next weekend over the 22nd and 23rd, which will be taped on the 19th in Nebraska, will be split over 2 1-hour shows. Based on the NCAA tournament.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So based on the tournament, they air Collision for 1 hour on Saturday and 1 hour on Sunday after the tournament goes off the air
at midnight.
So do you have 2 main events, or are you just going straight to the show,
just like Grand Slam?
I have no idea how they're going to air this. Like I'm so curious. I might actually watch both days just to see how they do this.
But they're gonna give you 15 minutes in between every halftime. All right, let's go to Collision.
Halftime heat.
Let's go to Collision.
It'll be 2 episodes of Rampage. That's what you'll get.
Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna pull that off, but I did see
just say go to Max. You know what? Watching that Max in one city. Have to put on TV. Just go to Max. Gosh, look at that! I figured that out in how long? And they can't figure it out. No, we'll air it at 1 a.m.
Yeah, so we'll see there. All right. Anybody got anything else from quick hitters?
Good.
Oh, all right. Thanks for tuning in to episode 230 of Dunmar's Podcast, the One Upper St. Patrick's Day Sunday Brunch Edition. We appreciate you guys rocking and rolling us with each and every single week. Follow us on all social media platforms at DunmarksPod. Email the show at DunmarksPod@gmail.com. Head on over to ProWrestlingTees.com/DunmarksPod to pick up some merch. Shout out to Squeeze for getting his merch delivered today, for paying up for the bet. DJ, we still got to figure out how to turn all our shit on to get Twitch subscriptions paid out to us. So We'll work on that
Features
in
the
the,
week.
in the offices of the post show, in that regard. So
That's why we can't watch Evolve. We got to figure this out.
all right. So this week's quote of the week is: "There's no such thing as perfect. You cannot think your way into perfection. Just take action." There's no such thing as perfect. You cannot think your way into perfection. Just take action. And with that being said, I'm a Mark, you're a Mark, telemark. And until next time, y'all can catch us around the way.